The following program was produced by an independent community producer. The opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of the ECAT staff or board of directors.
Hi everybody, I'm Claudia Donnell. Welcome to Cooking with Claudia. I am here in my home, in my wonderful, comfortable kitchen, and we're going to do some good cooking for you. Today, we're going to concentrate on some easy summer meal that's full of flavor for you. And hopefully you should accomplish this whole meal within an hour. We're going to start off with some shish kebab. Everybody likes shish kebab. Now this is chicken breast that I cut into about 1-inch cubes. And I've had them marinating now. They've been marinating for about 3-4 hours. And all that's in here for the chicken is fresh oregano. I didn't even chop it. Crushed garlic, olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, and a little bit of crushed black pepper. And I let the chicken marinate, but it probably was 3 to 4 hours this morning. However, poultry and seafood don't need a whole lot of time for it to develop the flavors that you give it. It doesn't take long. So if you start to marinate your process when you first come home from work, get it going, a half hour should be more than enough time for you to develop some really good flavor. The other thing I want to tell you about, when you're marinating poultry or seafood, put in all your delicious ingredients, but do not put in salt. You want to salt it just before you start to cook it. If you put too much salt, if you put salt in poultry or seafood way in advance, what happens is it gets a little mushy. That doesn't taste good. So we're going to salt these now. I'm going to put them on the grill. I have a grill that we're going to use inside. And of course, if you have a grill outside, you want to use that. So we're just going to go over to the stove. I've got my grill preheating. So we should hear some nice noise when we put it on the grill. Did you hear it? I heard it. That's a good thing. So on they go. And I am putting the side that I just salted on the grill. Before we move over there, I'm going to resalt the other side so that each side has flavor. A little bit of salt. Remember, when you're sprinkling any kind of seasoning, you want to do it from a distance so that the smallest amount will go the farthest distance. All right, already starts to smell good. Now we're just going to let them do their thing, and we're going to come over here and we're going to do our thing. We're going to make some street and corn pasta salad. So I'm going to start the corn right now. You can use fresh corn, and I suggest you do that, but right now, native fresh corn is not available. So I went with the next best thing, frozen. So I have 2 cups of frozen kernels, nice, already removed. I'm going to put it in this pan. Now as this cooks, what we're doing here is we're roasting the corn. And as it cooks, you'll probably start hearing them pop. And trust me, they don't make popcorn. They just make noise. So I'm going to sprinkle a tiny bit of salt on the corn, because you want to season everything, every layer of things that you put in. So this is going to cook. I'm also going to get the water boiling because we're going to make some pasta. So just get this going. I made this for a recent catering gig that we had, and it was so delicious I have to make it again. I've made it a couple of times since for my family, and guess what they're going to have tonight? This. Not this, but another layer. Another batch. All right, so corn's on to cook, the water's on to boil. Now, we're going to start a little bit of the stuff that goes in it. This is scallions. Now, sometime this spring, I had a salad that I had to make, and I wanted to put scallions in it. And you know, you see all these things on your Facebook or social network of different things to do to root your own vegetables. So I took these 3 little tiny little pieces of scallion, the root end that I didn't use, put it in a little bottle, little glass of water, and the roots grew. And I said, all right, you know, they're kind of about this inches long now, not an inch or 2 of the roots. So I put some dirt in my window box and stuck a few holes in, throw those little things in. They were like this big. Look at them now. I don't even know what the bulb must look like. I won't harvest the bulb until the fall, but these are pretty awesome. So we're just going to take some of these scallions and we're going to chop them. This is going to be the base for or part of the sauce that we're going to use. The thing about herbs is they're soft, right? And you think, oh, we're going through, this knife is cutting really well and everything's great. And then you look and there's this whole thing that's slit all the way through, but the whole bottom is not in it, and it's like this train of partially cut herbs. Gets me crazy. So this, just like this. See, that's what I'm talking about. But that's all right. When you think you're getting it, that's all right. Okay, so we've got some nice scallions. Now, this is oregano. And again, this is from my garden. And oregano is a perennial. And I planted a plant a few years ago, and the thing is like a tree now. It's delicious. So I'm just going to strip the leaves, and I'm going to go over here and check out our corn for a minute. Give it a twirl. All right, that's doing well. These guys are doing all right. That was hot. Don't do that. One other thing I wanted to tell you. The skewers, the wooden skewers that you use for your shish kebabs, if you're using a wooden skewer, you want to make sure you soak those skewers for at least a half hour. Those have been soaking pretty much around the same time that the marinade was going, so they're good and wet. And the reason why you want to do that is so that they don't catch on fire, which they will to an extent, but not a whole lot. I'm just going to take real quick and chop up this oregano to put in the sauce. And this, yeah. All right. So we have that. We're good. Now, we're going to use some lime. I'm going to just get the dressing ready. So let's put that in here. About the chicken. I think I mentioned it, but if not, I'm going to emphasize it. Even if I did mention it, we're going to do it again. When you're cutting up your protein for your shish kebabs, you want to make every effort that you can to make each cube of that protein to be the same size. And why it's important, especially here, you want that protein to cook through. And if you've got a big piece and a little piece, they're not going to cook evenly, and you're going to have something that's either overcooked or undercooked, neither of which is good. So you want everything the same size so that your protein will cook through. Vegetables don't need to necessarily be as cooked through. Some people like things more al dente than others. Personally, I like my veggies pretty soft and mushy. My husband likes them a little crispy, crunchy. So there's a little bit of a balance. For shish kebab, I kind of like it crispy, crunchy with that little bit of char flavor. So, getting back to your chicken, turkey, whatever it is that you're going to, anything, fish, beef, pork, same size so that it cooks at the same time, and it also looks much better. Everything's uniform, it looks good. I'm just going to check these, let them cook nice and slow. Let's see how there we go. I wanted a little color on our corn. And you may or may not remember, after you finish cooking something and you take it off the heat, it's going to continue to cook for a good 5 minutes or more. So I just took the corn off. I'm leaving it in the pan. It's going to get a little bit more of a brown color, which is you want. You want a little bit of brown on there, saying, hey, I just got roasted, and now the flavor is going to be much more intense. The sweetness is going to come out delicious. Personally, I think any vegetable roasted is far superior to boiled, because you're going to get that flavor of the roast. All right, so that's cooking. The corn is good. The water has not boiled yet. It will soon. I have not put any salt in the water yet. I usually wait until the water boils to put the salt in before I put my pasta in. All right. So now I'm going to zest some limes. And before I zest it, you see what I'm doing here. I'm rolling it because I want to start to break those little bubbles of deliciousness in there before I put the sauce, the juice in. But I want the zest, because the zest of your citrus fruit is going to give you all the delicious flavor without all that sourness. And I like a little bit of sour, but I don't like a whole lot. But I do like the flavor of lime. So again, there's that delicate balance. So I'm just going to take some zest. You want to zest it before you juice it, because when you juice it, you cut it in half, and then it's not going to be easy to zest because you got a half a squishy lime. So you get the zest first. During the course of the year, there's many naked citrus fruits as I go along, because I like the flavor of the citrus without all of the acid. So we're just going to get a whole bunch of flavor here. Smells good in here, people. Smells good. So we're going to get all this zest out, put it in here. All of this deliciousness I'm going to put in here. And again, I don't measure a lot of things. I just kind of go by the seat of my pants when it comes to cooking. When it comes to baking, I'm very direct and I follow directions. When it comes to cooking, I make up mostly my own rules. So this is a juicer, and I'm just going to take and juice this lime. Get every bit of it out as we can. It's amazing, that little lime, how much juice actually comes out of it. Pretty cool. I'm going to save some lime in case you want to squirt a little bit of lime on the shish kebab. It sounds like the water is boiling, so I'm going to juice one more before I go over there. And this is a great time of year because everything's kind of growing. So when I need a fresh herb, I go out to my garden, need a fresh scallion. Trust me, I'm going to do that again next year. All right, let's see how we're doing over here. Yep, that's starting to boil. So I'm going to put some water in. Some salt in the water. And in it goes. I like my pasta al dente, and this says to cook it for about 8 minutes. So that's what we're going to do. Because it will get soft as it starts to absorb the dressing that we're making. So we're going to put 8 minutes on our clock. And I want to check these. I'm going to just turn these over again. Nice and juicy. So for chicken, you're looking for a temperature of 158 to 160. Once you turn that off, remember I told you it's going to continue to cook. So that's going to bring the temperature up to about 165 to 168, which is more than the temperature it needs to be safe. So you want to be careful with your poultry products to make sure that they're cooked through so it doesn't make people sick. I had a wonderful man come with his adorable 4-year-old grandson this past fall, and they wanted to make chicken tenders. So we made chicken tenders and marinara sauce, and I don't know if we made something else, but it was the chicken tenders that I want to concentrate on. The little 4-year-old, by the way, did the entire breading process. Flour, eggs, breadcrumbs, complete. This kid did an awesome job. I was so impressed. So we're cooking him, and now I'm explaining to the grandfather, because a 4-year-old, I don't think he would have understood temperature. I showed him the temperature as we were taking the chicken tenders off, and it was 160 degrees. And remember, it's going to go up at least 5 degrees, and you're looking for 164 to 166 degrees for chicken so that it's not going to cause you any physical harm. So anyway, Grandpa, now he and the little boy are eating the chicken tenders, and Grandpa came over to me very upset. Claudia, can you put this on for another 5 minutes? And I said, why? And he said, because it's so juicy. I'm not used to juicy. So I said, it's because you overcook it, and that's the problem. I am not a good chicken breast cooker because I tend to overcook it. Most people do. But if you have a thermometer to check the temperature of your meat, it will be a very good thing for you to invest in. Okay, here it is, right in front of you. Simple, easy. They're inexpensive. You can get them anywhere. And this will give you a good indication of what you're dealing with. And when it comes to chicken and turkey, I'm always using this. When it comes to beef and pork, I'm much less rigid about it because you have a little bit more of a leeway. I'm just going to quick and take a temperature of one of these and see how we're doing. That was a piece of chicken that I put the thermometer in. So you have to be careful that it doesn't go up against the piece of wood, or if you're doing it on a whole chicken, you want to be careful that you don't stick the temperature, the thermometer in where there's a bone. You want to keep it in the flesh. So we get some room to cook some more, so that's okay. We'll just leave this here and come back to it. I'm going to turn this. Pasta's almost done. We have a nice color on our corn. Doesn't have to be black, but there's a nice color there. You can see the brown. So that's good. Now, let's go back over here. So we've got our delicious lime and lime zest in there. I'm going to take, this is a jalapeno pepper, a little bit spicy. So I'm going to take it and we're going to add it. So, when you're dealing with a spicy pepper, the most heat is going to come from your seeds. And you want to be careful after you've touched the seeds that you don't rub your eyes until you really, really, really wash your hands very well. Because the oil will stay on your fingers and get into your eyes or whatever you scratch. I found that out the hard way. So I'm going to keep a little bit of seed in there to give it a little bit of a kick. Not all of them, just a little. And I'm going to slice them really small. Chop it up so that you get just a piece of it. Nobody wants, or I don't want, a big whole hunk of something hot in my mouth. But I don't mind if there's a little piece of it, because it's, ooh, that'll taste good. So, just little pieces. We're going to put a little bit of seasoning in now. We've got our lime juice, we've got a little jalapeno pepper, there's oregano in there. We're going to put in a half, maybe a little, like a third of a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. Cayenne pepper is chili pepper that they've ground up and pulverized. That's about a third. And it's very hot, so a little goes a long way. We're going to put in some chili powder. I'm going to put in a teaspoon of that because we start small and we can always add more. So keep that in mind. You can never take it out. Once it's in, it's in. But you can always add more. So there's a teaspoon of chili powder. And we're going to put in some garlic. And we'll put in about a teaspoon of that as well. I don't believe we put any salt in this yet. So we're going to put in a half a teaspoon of salt. There. So all of that, I'm going to give it a nice mix now. So as we're mixing this up, there's two more ingredients that we have to put in. Sour cream, we're going to put in a whole cup of sour cream. Oh, well, that wasn't good. Sour cream tends to separate a little bit, so you just mix it up and say, okay, so some delicious sour cream, a little bit more than a dollop. I like that commercial. And we want a half a cup of mayonnaise. So let me get another spoon. Again, I told you I don't measure. I guesstimate. I think one more of those and we'll be good. Mix it all up. Delicious. One more thing, I misspoke. One more big ingredient, and that's cotija cheese. Now, there's not a whole lot of flavor in it, but it does have a little bit of a very mild, sort of like a mozzarella, I guess. And it's very tasty. I'm going to shred it and put that in. Gives a little bit of nice texture. And if you can, I'm one to buy things that are already shredded, which costs a little bit more. And as you can see, this really is not a big deal to shred. Sometimes I get lazy. And then if you get lazy, you're going to pay a little bit more, which is a good compromise, I guess. All right. Every bit. So there's about a cup of that. In it goes. I like to mix my dressings and everything in it really well before I put this in with the rest of the stuff. All right, so now here's where the magic's going to happen. We have pasta cooked. We have our corn cooked. All right. I'm just going to mix these two up a little bit. I really just want to break up the pasta. As it cooled, it got stuck. All right. Here we go. Deliciousness. You know what I think we should do before I mix it all in? I think we should taste it. Oh, yum. I'm going to use a spatula because if I see stuff left in the bowl, I get upset because it's not where it should be. It should be on the main ingredient. This is going to be so good. All right, let's get it going. I don't like a whole lot of dressing on my things. I like a little bit. Sometimes we went out for dinner the other night to a beautiful restaurant, and before my meal came, I got a salad. And the salad was beautiful, but the dressing, there must have been a half a cup of dressing on this small salad. I couldn't eat it because it was just too much. So sometimes less is more. So here's the situation. I have to go in and taste this. All right, let's see how we're doing here. Got to get a little bit of corn and a little bit of pasta. That was really good. I could eat a whole meal of that. All right, so I took the shish kebabs out of the oven, off the grill, put it in the oven to keep them warm. Let's see how they come out. So what you're looking for is a big piece of chicken, because if the big piece of chicken is cooked through, then you should be in good shape. Also, if you put a fork in your chicken or turkey and the juices come out clear, there's a good sign you're close, if not there. This is good. I'm going to take a little bit more. And I'm going to take a little bit of this. And I'm going to sample it for you. All right, so I'm going to take a bite of this and a bite of the chicken. Bon appetito. Very good. All right. So there you go. You have Mexican street corn and pasta salad, and delicious, simple shish kebab. You should be able to make everything within an hour so that you can feed your family something healthy, tasty, and delicious. So that's it from Cooking with Claudia today. Thank you for coming. I always have fun when you're here. Bon appetito, happy cooking, happy eating. See you next time. Thank you.